Hello, mysterious person behind the screen. Merry Christmas, or at least Merry Festive Season. Yes, I'm joined by Isaac.
All the great users have their names. We're the wet commentators.
And yeah, all through the month of December, we will be providing commentaries to a few festive favourites, a few classic Christmas films, and we're starting off with what many describe as the best Christmas film of all, Home Alone, the original Home Alone. So
there's only two.
There's only two. The other ones don't count. Without further ado, then.
If you'd like to sync this up with your own copy of Home Alone, the Blu-ray version, put the film to 0 and press play in 3, 2, 1, go. Now, Home Alone is technically now a Disney film.
Yeah, and that's kind of depressing.
No. So is
so
Miracle
weird.
on 34th Street now, and I think... Is It's a Wonderful Life now a Disney film?
I
Was that
don't
done by
think
Fox?
so. I think that's
right, okay.
I think that's now owned by Paramount. So
Fair.
that's safe for now. But yeah, it's so weird to think of this as a Disney film now. Like,
I mean, it's 30 years old this year.
it's just so weird to think about. It's bizarre. Like I'll
But it kind of has a timeless feel about it, because, you know, you look at other films from this era, the 90s, and you think, oh, that's easily from the 90s, but this not so much, aside from the fact of if this kind of story was done today, it'd be completely undone by modern tech.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, but I think when you're a kid watching it, especially, that doesn't cross your mind really, because you just sort of get swept up in the whole adventure of sort of being left home alone and.
Yeah, I mean, I can pick this film apart for its logical inconsistencies, but I don't care. I think a lot of people forgive it because it just gets you into that Christmas cheer. And also, yeah, because I know the critics weren't too kind to it. I mean, Roger Ebert even said, it's totally unrealistic. I mean, he could have made those booby traps if he had the help of $1 million movie production crew, but I highly doubt an 8-year-old could do that.
Yeah, well, that's true. I mean, people do sort of like to pick apart this film and go, oh, it's so unrealistic, it can never happen, but it's like, it's, you know, you're never going to enjoy the film if you're constantly going, well, that's unrealistic. That can never happen.
Yeah, because John Hughes' comedies, they were very much taking ordinary situations, they're just making them a bit surreal, pretty much like Planes, Trains and Automobiles. That was, it's pretty much a guy trying to get home for Thanksgiving, but all sorts of illogical situations happen that most likely wouldn't happen in the real world, but you just buy it.
Yeah, exactly. And I think in this film as well, it kind of adds to that thing about this is kind of a kid's fantasy, really. It's like that ultimate, what would you do if you were left home alone? And it's kind of designed to put you in Kevin's shoes, really. And it's it's not really...
Macaulay Culkin, he's what, 38 now?
Yeah, he's nearly... Yeah.
Oh, God.
It's this... And fair play to him, he's turned his life around. He's turned his life around majorly.
He has, yeah. Because I know a couple of years ago he did the... was it the Google advert?
Yes, yeah, he did, yeah.
Yeah, he was home alone once again in the McAllister house, but obviously as an adult saying, Google, what's my schedule for today? And I know he jumps on the bed at one point and goes, ow, ow, ow. and I think the pizza guy shows up, and it's the same actor who played him in this film. That is just so amazing.
It's brilliant, yeah. I mean, they're now... I mean, to be honest, I could... In this world we live in of sequels, remakes and prequels and all that, I could totally see them at some point doing a sequel that's 30 years on, where he's an adult and the Wet Bandits are like...
Well, yeah, I mean... But... Well, the biggest theory that goes around is that Kevin McAllister is the Jigsaw killer.
Yeah, I've heard that, yeah.
Oh, God. And, yeah, honestly, to be fair, quite a few of his traps are quite similar to what Jigsaw does.
Oh, yeah, especially in the second one. In the second one, when we get to things like the whole electrocuting thing, where it literally shows the skeleton and everything, it's like...
And also the house is very Saw-esque because I think it's Saw 2. The main setting is in an abandoned house, and I just think, oh Christ, this is Saw 2. I'm half expecting them to start coughing up their own blood in a minute.
Well, there's that video online. We made Home Alone R-rated, and they try and add like these VFX artists try and add like realistic wounds to the wet bandits and stuff.
Yeah, because there's also that Honest Action trailer that
yes, yeah,
that Screen Junkies did. Skull fracture with epidermal hematoma. Marv is dead. Apparently, it took 23 Marvs and 17 Harrys to survive both Home Alone films.
Doesn't surprise me at all.
I think by the time Harry slips on the steps at the front door, apparently he's already dead.
Oh yeah, like hands down.
I never get this family. Why would you go away for Christmas? I mean, holidaying is stressful enough already because you've got to pack and cancel everything, tell everyone you're away. So I don't know why you'd go at Christmas.
Oh yeah, yeah, for sure. And I think I can't remember if it's this film or the second one. I think it's the second one. Doesn't Kevin say like, "Oh, who wants to spend Christmas in a tropical climate anyway?" And it's
that's
like,
it, yeah, because they go to Florida in the second one. And
yeah.
Having spent Christmas in a tropical climate, I can vouch for what he said.
Oh yeah, I definitely would not like to do that. I never have, and it's not something that really appeals to me.
Now, thanks to The Unusual Suspect, I'm probably going to be referencing him a lot in this video.
Oh yeah, hands down.
Oh yeah, he showed us all the Old Man Marley Facebook page. I only come out at night. Merry Christmas. I think one year he put, be sure to be careful out there. I can't, from the wet bandits, I can't always be there with my snow shovel.
You all get to live one more day. Merry Christmas, Old Man Marley.
I think John Hughes is just really good at writing for kids and teenagers particularly because, you know, even though this whole story of him being a shovel-slaying murderer, it's obviously not true, but it's definitely something a kid would make up.
Oh yeah, for sure. And it taps into that old sort of, you know, every sort of town has that old thing of, oh, you know, that guy murdered his wife and cut up the body and stuff. There's always that kind of urban legend amongst towns and cities like that. So you're right, John Hughes is clever and he taps into that very well.
And I know every John Hughes film is more or less set in Chicago.
Yes, it is, yeah. To the point where The Breakfast Club and Ferris Bueller share the name of the school, I think.
Okay. And I also think a house similar to the one the McAllisters lives in is seen in Planes, Trains and Automobiles, which has led to the theory that they're in the same street or estate, something like that.
I mean, because that's true.
In fact, I only know 3 of his films that don't take place in Chicago. That's Home Alone 2, obviously, it's in New York.
Yes.
Miracle on 34th Street, and probably the furthest he's been, 101 Dalmatians.
Oh God, I didn't know he was involved with that with 101 Dalmatians.
Yeah.
Oh damn.
Yeah, he wrote the live action remake.
Oh, I didn't know that.
If you look at Jasper and Horace in that, you can clearly see Harry and Marv.
Yeah. I mean, because it's true. Like the house, the interior of the house isn't the same as the exterior. They're two different places. Yeah,
I don't think it is. No. I know this house a couple of years ago went on the market for like $1.2 million, something like that.
It did.
That's amazing.
Can you imagine that living in the Home Alone house? That'd be amazing.
Yeah.
It's basically a mansion. Like it's massive.
It is, yeah. I mean, I just want to know, what do Kevin's parents have as jobs if they can afford a place like that?
But actually, the set for the house it was built in like this big school gym hall. So it's like this.
It was, yeah. I think, it was
nuts.
I mean, I have a really big extended family, so I can really relate to this film.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
This is everyone.
Particularly round about Christmas time when we go to each other's houses and you just see all your relatives again.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Now, I know Catherine O'Hara, who plays Kevin's mum, she, I think on TikTok recently, she redid the Kevin from Home Alone 2, where she faints. It was hilarious.
Oh, nice. I love Catherine O'Hara. She's brilliant.
Yeah, because she was in Beetlejuice and I think Nightmare Before Christmas.
Yeah, she voices Sally in Nightmare Before Christmas.
He wants to piss all over him, doesn't he? Don't know what a golden shower is? You soon will. But I know Fuller is played by Macaulay's younger brother, Kieran.
It is, yeah. It's Kieran Culkin. It's
yeah,
and the other brother Rory was in Scream 4, wasn't he?
He was, yeah. And I don't know which. I know there was a Culkin brother who was in Signs, but I don't know which one it was.
Yeah, I'm not sure. How many are there? There's 3 of them, aren't there?
I think so, yeah. Macaulay, who's
Rory,
I think is the oldest, Rory and Kieran, I think is the youngest, but I could be wrong. And one detail there is that when they were wiping up all the mess, Kevin's dad accidentally threw away his ticket, which is why no one questions he's missing until later.
Yeah, and that was watching this, as a kid on VHS and DVD and stuff. I never noticed that detail, and I remember noticing that for the first time and just being like, "Oh my god!" Like I felt like I just discovered some big secret, and then I went online and it turned out that everyone had noticed it. but yeah, it's not played on at all. It's really subtle.
Yeah, it's the same pizza guy who later appears in the advert. That is just amazing.
That is cool, yeah.
And it's an interesting point the Honest trailer brought up of this film. They said, there is nothing worth stealing in this house. Meet the wet bandits who are obsessed with one house, even though there's nothing worth stealing here.
Yeah, it's literally... Well, they say later, don't they? It's they go on about VCRs, and that's toys,
yeah,
VCRs.
Yeah, and one thing I always forget is that John Williams did the score to both of these films.
Yeah,
but it's one I always forget, but it's a score I really like because, particularly with the slapstick bit, it reminds me a lot of the old Looney Tunes cartoons. Where, you'd get that suspenseful bit of music before, I don't know, Daffy Duck is shot in the beak.
Oh, yeah, for sure. It definitely... It's a really interesting score, actually, and it's quite... I used to find it quite creepy when I was younger. Like, I find it really quite sort of unsettling. And, yeah, it's a really good score.
Yeah, definitely... It's a suspenseful but also festive score that I really like.
For sure, yeah, and... I think him doing it was actually as a joke initially. I don't know if you've heard this story before. They the filmmakers were they realised they didn't have a composer, and they were sort of flip-flopping ideas who they could get to do it. And one of them said, "Hey, what about if we get John Williams?" And they all laughed, and then they just went, "Wait, that could actually work." So it was just a complete joke initially.
Yeah, because John Williams, I think he once said, not a lot of directors approach me because they assume I'm going to cost a fortune.
Yeah, and that was very much the mentality behind this initially. They were just like, hey, what about if we get John Williams for this silly little family Christmas movie? And it's like, that actually happened, and John Williams actually loved the film and was really happy to do it, so...
Yeah, because he typically does, like, big blockbuster films and things like that.
I find this reef, this Santa Claus on this reef here is terrifying.
That is terrifying,
it's really creepy.
And apparently John Hughes, he wrote this script in a weekend, according to legend.
Yeah, I think they say that on the commentary track, on the Blu-ray for this.
Yeah, because it's a really good commentary with Chris Columbus and Macaulay Culkin.
Because they joke about,
I know.
this one was written in a weekend. The sequel was just written in an hour. Copy paste from Home Alone 1 and you're done.
Yeah, set it in a city, repeat. So you're telling me, out of the 15 people in this house, nobody set an alarm? And Kevin didn't wake up from all this commotion?
Oh yeah, I mean, to be fair, I wouldn't. I'm a heavy sleeper. Like, if all this was going on, it would just not faze me.
Now this kid here, apparently he auditioned for Kevin, and you're about to see why he didn't get the part.
Yeah, he mouths the other
mouths
actor's lines.
The driver's words.
Yeah.
How did they not pick that up? I mean, I got
really
told
obvious.
off once for looking at. I got told off once for having a quick look at the camera because quite early in my career, but yeah. Look at that! Terrible.
It's so obvious as well. It's not like in the shadows or anything. I think I recognise him though. I've seen him in other things. I think I'm not sure what, but
I don't know the actor's name.
Yeah, me neither.
I mean, the kind of tragic thing about this film is that it became John Hughes's most successful film. And the sad thing is, he just kept copying the formula over and over again from his later films. This made 400 million worldwide. I know. Let's keep making more slapstick films.
Oh yeah, like it is double-edged sword, isn't it? But like I said, this film was insanely successful. It
remained at number one at the box office, I think, for about 12 weeks, something like that.
It was like June or July, and it was still.
Yeah, a Christmas film was still doing great in July. That's insane.
It is nuts.
Heck, I think Siskel and Ebert even brought that up in one of their episodes in 1991, because they reviewed it when it came out, and then a couple months later, I think there's a video of them saying, "We can't believe how successful this film's been."
Yeah, because they did. Wow, yeah. At least Ebert did not care for it.
Yeah, neither did Siskel either, because he just said the slapstick was too stupid and it was completely unrealistic.
And then Ebert ended up loving Home Alone 3.
Yeah, that baffles me.
It does, yeah.
This movie empowers kids. Gene Siskel's like, that's in number one. He beats up thugs in the first one.
This one
the way he just looks at him, he's like, who are you and where is Roger Ebert?
Yeah, this film has more heart than the first two. Than the original Home Alone!
Apparently this wasn't originally going to be a Christmas film, but I think it might have been Chris Columbus's idea to set it at Christmas, but I could be wrong.
Possibly, because I know Chris Columbus was his career was flagging at the time, and he got put onto National Lampoon's Christmas Vacation, and he was going to direct that, but Chevy Chase hated him. Chevy Chase gave him such a hard time, like seemingly for no reason. So the story goes, Chevy Chase was just unnecessarily mean to him. So he walked off the project, and then I think he just spoke to John Hughes about getting assigned to some other Christmas film, and he got the job to do this. So it kind of worked out well for Columbus there. But it's interesting how he went from one Christmas film to another.
Yeah,
quite quickly.
And ironic. And what we've just seen here, when Kevin turns on the TV, the original Miracle on 34th Street is playing.
Yes.
And ironic, because John Hughes co-wrote the remake in 1994.
Yeah. This section of the film is a bit of a nightmare if you're wearing headphones and have them at a high volume, because you go from really quiet, silent scenes in the house, and then every time it cuts back to the plane, it's just suddenly
it's really loud.
Yeah.
And there's so many plane transitions in this.
Yeah,
obviously it's supposed to symbolise Kate McAllister going from one place to another.
Yeah.
I mean, okay, they can't be that rich if the adults go into first class and the kids are stuck in basic.
Yeah. To be fair, they're lucky to have all, like you said, this mansion earlier, and can pay for all of these people to fly on Christmas. It's like,
yeah. And I know, funnily enough, we never see Kevin's own bedroom, because we only see him sleep on the third floor and then in his parents' room. So, yeah,
that is
we never see his own room.
Point. And that's kind of weird when you think about it.
Yeah, unless he shares with his brother with the ginger hair, something like that.
Yeah, that is odd, actually, considering that this film goes through pretty much every room of the house at some point. That is odd. Yeah.
I think Chris Columbus had worked with Macaulay Culkin on Uncle Buck, and originally, he did audition. Even though he wanted Macaulay, he did audition thousands of other kids for the role of Kevin, but ultimately just thought, I'll just give it to him.
Yeah, he's wonderful, and I think I'll be the first to say it. Macaulay Culkin, in these films, he isn't the best of actors, but that doesn't really matter. Because
that's true, yeah.
He's got so much
he's
charm
supposed to be
him.
Like, yeah, he has to carry a lot of the film by himself. So
yeah, that's it.
Yeah,
and it's not like his line deliveries
sometimes
are perfect.
Sometimes adult actors struggle to pull that off.
Exactly. I like this bit here where he goes, "Oh, they didn't go to the airport." Like, that's a little bit off. But it doesn't matter because he's got he's got so much charm to him, and he's got this twinkle in his eye, and he's a charisma machine.
Definitely, yeah.
Like, in everything he's in, he's fantastic, and that's why people love him. And again, like, it puts you in the mindset of that of being a kid, because these flashbacks,
it definitely does, yeah.
These flashbacks of the family saying stuff to him are so much more over the top and so much more cartoony than what we actually saw.
They are, yeah.
And it kind of puts, and that's kind of what, as a kid, you would sort of remember them as. So yeah. It works.
I mean, if I was 8 years old and left all alone, I probably wouldn't survive because I wouldn't know how to make my own food.
Yeah.
I'd probably just eat all the chocolate if I had any.
Yeah, absolutely. Just, go in all the junk food. That's what would happen.
Yeah. Okay, kid, calm down. You're not home alone. You haven't got the COVID vaccine. Oh, this joke here when he reads the Playboy magazine, that went completely over my head as a kid.
Oh yeah, same here. I always forget, every time I watch this, I always forget how quickly it goes into him being home alone. Like, I always, like, there's not that, how long are we into the film at this point? We're 22 minutes, 23 minutes into the film.
Yeah, it's a very tightly written film.
Very much so,
Home Alone 2, obviously they want to keep the title in, but he's technically not Home Alone, he's City Alone.
City Alone,
or
yeah.
Hotel Alone.
I guess that's why they add in the Lost in New York subtitle.
Yeah.
To sort of... I mean, we'll get onto it next time, but I really like Home Alone 2 a lot. And
me too, yeah. I think the wit of the... Yeah, it's a carbon copy, but I don't care because the wit of the original script is still there.
Yeah, for sure. And I enjoy seeing how they replicate certain scenes but put twists on them. But obviously we'll get onto that next time, but...
Now, I'm going to be honest, for years I thought this was a real film.
Oh yeah, same here. This is so well done. This feels like...
It is, yeah.
It's a pitch-perfect recreation of noir films.
I think you can see the clip, unedited, without Kevin watching it on the Blu-ray, I think.
Yeah, I know on some editions it's actually on there as a full thing, and there's behind the scenes photos of them filming it and stuff, and it's just like if you showed me those behind the scenes photos, I wouldn't say, oh yeah, that's Home Alone. That's them filming Home Alone. It's so sort of, they commit to it really good.
Yeah, because as a kid, obviously you'd think, yay, I can watch adult films, but obviously you're going to be traumatised by them.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Yeah, one of cinema's most iconic lines, Merry Christmas, you filthy animal, or keep the change, you filthy animal.
Yeah.
Ironically, it's not from a real film.
Yeah,
it's from a film within a film.
Exactly. And I have that on a Christmas jumper. I have a Christmas jumper that says, Merry Christmas, you filthy animal.
Yeah. Well, yeah, because he doesn't say Merry Christmas in this one, it's in the second one.
Yes, yeah. That's the thing, you kind of... Because the two films are so similar, in my head I often sort of mix up one and the other in terms of bits. So I go, oh, that
yeah, I do.
Is that bit from the first one or the second one? Oh, it's the second one. Oh, it's the first one. Like, it's really easy to do that.
Yeah. I mean, the second one is more different to me because, it has Tim Curry.
Oh, yeah, and Tim Curry's fabulous in it.
Have a lovely day.
Have a lovely day.
Right, this wouldn't work because the steps and the door aren't aligned.
No.
He'd just crash into the wall.
Yeah, he just hit the side of the wall, wouldn't he, and just sort of spin out. Even if you... Oh, man. I did try this when I was a kid, though, and it didn't go very well.
I mean, I can't because, my steps and front door does not align.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, no, me neither. I just tried it, just going down the stairs, like, on a sledge, and I should have thought, as a kid, there's no door there, I'm just going to go straight into the wall. But for some reason that didn't cross my mind, and I just did it anyway. It's like...
I love how Uncle Frank is such an arsehole.
He is.
Makes you feel any better, I forgot my reading glasses. That doesn't help.
Uncle Frank is wonderful.
It's like he doesn't give a shit about Kevin. Now, I know for the American Film Institute Best 100 Villains, these two got nominated, but sadly they didn't make the list.
Yeah, I can see. Yeah, that's a shame, but they're wonderful. They're classic double act.
One of my favourite comedic villains. Yeah, I know Joe Pesci has retired from acting now.
Yes, but he was brilliant in The Irishman last year. He was absolutely fantastic. Yeah, it was this big comeback because obviously it was the big comeback for Scorsese and De Niro and Pesci and Al Pacino and doing basically a classic gangster film, and he was brilliant in it. I definitely recommend checking that out. It's 3.5 hours long, but it's good.
Oh.
It's very long, but it is good.
Now I know Daniel Stern famously turned down Home Alone 4, calling the script an insult, total garbage.
Yeah. Because that's it. Home Alone 4 is a sequel to the first two. It's got Kevin in it, and it's got Marv in it.
Well,
but it's like, what?
I mean, it's like Superman Returns. It acts like it's part of the same universe, but It clearly isn't.
It makes no. Oh yeah, because he's like 9
When you
in Home Alone
age
4, and he's 10
yeah,
in 2.
in sequels, you age up, not backwards. Unless it's a prequel to Home Alone 2. But then again, that's Home Alone 2 is stated that this film happened the year before that, so no, you couldn't have taken 2 years out.
Yeah.
I know Home Alone 5 has Malcolm McDowell in it.
Oh, I know. Home Alone 5 is something else.
I'm half expecting him to break in and start going, right, Pete, check the rest of the house, dim. I'm singing in the rain.
To be fair, I think I haven't seen it, but from what I've seen of Home Alone 5, it is the one out of the sequels after 2, it's the one that tries to do something a bit different, because it's like about a smart house.
Yeah, I know. I'd say 4 is the worst because it has the fucking nerve to be part of the same universe, shall we say, as this one. I mean, Home Alone 3 and 5, they're not very good, but at least they're standalone. They're pretty much harmless.
Yeah, I kind of want to watch 3 one of these days, because I've never actually seen it all the way through. Most of my knowledge of it comes from The Unusual Suspects.
Yeah, I've seen it all the way through, and it's not good, but I just kind of shrug. I don't think it's like the worst thing ever. I just shrugged my shoulders like, bleh.
Yeah, because
kids will like it, but that's about it.
Yeah, because I never watched it as a kid, because I didn't like the fact that it didn't have Macaulay Culkin in it, so I never watched it when I was younger, and I guess over the years I'm just not bothered. It is on Disney Plus, so I might give it a go.
Now there is a deleted scene here where I think they're called. You can actually see it there. They're holding up the family they're going to meet in Paris. They're holding up a sign saying "Welcome McAllisters" or something.
Yeah.
And because they're running quickly to get to a phone, they think, "Oh look, they're so excited to see us! Wave to them!" And they just run right through the sign and ignore them. It's quite funny. Now, in fairness, they do take notice to the communication issue by having the phones being out of order, and, you know, they say everyone on the street has gone on holiday, so no one can help them.
That's true, they do address it, in all fairness. And I think this is where it being a Christmas film actually does matter, because the whole busyness and the rush of Christmas adds to that as well. The fact that she can't get a flight and everything. If it was set at any other time of year, it might be easier to fix this problem.
Yeah. Who were you talking to? I mean, I was a weird kid, but I never did that.
Oh, this scream coming up, though, is a scream for the ages.
Yeah.
It's one of the funniest parts of the film for me.
It is. He's just looking at him like...
But to be fair, and again, it's like The Unusual Suspect said... Like you said, why, you don't like that everyone thinks of you as this mass murderer, but why are you coming up to people and glaring at them with, like, your eyes wide open and, like...
Exactly.
But again, I
love it when, in his review, he interacts with Kate here and says, right, so you want us to do nothing while you call a neighbour because of the 200 million people that live in the US. You're bound to know somebody. Yeah, I think she's great in this because her dedication is almost pretty much hilarious.
Oh yeah, she has amazing comedic timing as well. She's fantastic, and she's had somewhat of a resurgence in the last few years because she's been doing a lot of TV stuff.
Yeah, I know Chris Columbus has done. After this, he did Mrs. Doubtfire, the first 2 Harry Potter films, and didn't he do Pixels?
Well, I was about to say, yeah, with Chris Columbus, you're always going to be in for a fun time, and then you mentioned Pixels, and I remember he did that. And I saw Pixels in the cinema, so...
Well, I don't bother with Adam Sandler.
Well, to be fair, Adam Sandler he's a guilty pleasure for me. Because a lot of his films are just him and his friends going on holiday, and sometimes that sort of excitement kind of just rubs off, and I can just go with it. But yeah.
I mean, if you want to know what my feelings on Adam Sandler films are, just watch the Family Guy clip with the seagull in the cinema reacting to him going, "This is my old bicycle that I had from when I was 10. Sometimes the banana sheet hurts my hiney. When I ring the bell, it makes my pants feel funny. Ring, ring, ring." If you want to hear that for an hour and a half, watch an Adam Sandler film.
But to be fair, Uncut Gems, I maintain he should have been at least nominated for an Oscar for that. He was brilliant.
I've not seen that.
He was brilliant in Uncut Gems, like a genuinely fantastic performance. So it shows he can actually do. He's a genuinely fantastic actor, but he's just yeah.
I mean, he did make the only Hanukkah film, 8 Crazy Nights.
Yeah, that's odd.
Now, John Hurd, he was in, what was it called? He was in Big, wasn't he? He was the villain in that one.
Yeah, he was the dickhead.
The dickhead businessman.
Yeah.
And also, what else has he been in?
He's one of those.
What else he was in?
He's one of those actors that when he was alive popped. Like I'd be watching TV and I'd see him on an episode of a sitcom or something. He would just pop up like every now and then, just in all sorts of different things. He's been in quite a few things. So it's sad that he's no longer with us.
Yeah, he sadly passed away, I think, in 2017.
Yes, yeah.
And he popped up in Sharknado, sounding like Krusty the Clown.
Oh, that's a shame.
I'll never get my aim back. Now here comes the iconic.
Which, if you think about it,
as a kid, I was always like, as a kid, I was like, what's the big deal?
Yeah.
Then, having shaved many times myself and put aftershave on, knowing full well what's going to happen, I now know.
And, you know, it's kind of odd when you think about it that the most iconic image from this franchise is based around the scene of a 10-year-old topless boy screaming. Or an 8-year-old topless boy screaming.
Again, just going back to how tightly written this is, obviously he's trying to get to the top shelf to get Buzz's money, but obviously he ends up causing the whole shelf to fall, which causes the tarantula to escape, which helps him later on.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's really...
It's set up and payoff, isn't it?
Yeah, and then there's a great joke at the end of the film. Kevin, what did you do to my room?
Yeah.
He doesn't have any keys with him, so he didn't even open the door.
Yeah, that's true, yeah. So the Wet Bandits could have just gone in whenever they wanted. They could have just, yeah.
Yeah. Okay, what burglar plays with the toys before stealing them? I mean, something tells me that if they went into a house and there was actual adults in there, they'd probably run away. So I think they're the type of burglars who don't like confrontation. Yeah.
Apparently, Joe Pesci was a nightmare on set for the first one.
Yeah, he kept swearing.
Yeah. And apparently he would just, like, on call sheets, he just would, like, cross off things on the call sheet and write different things on them to suit him. So it'd be like, oh, we're going to need you for 7 o'clock, and he was like, I don't want to be in 7 o'clock, I'll be in at 10. and during that time, the reason he didn't want to be in at 7 was because he wanted to go play golf. And apparently he was just playing golf all the time.
Wow.
There's anyone else?
I know the swearing was replaced with him going.
If anyone out there has seen a Netflix series called The Movies That Made Us, there's a great episode on Home Alone, and it's this really nice hour-long sort of mini documentary on the story behind this film. And it's really interesting, and there's a lot of stuff that I didn't know, and it sounds like the production of this was actually really quite troubled, more than people realise, I think, because it got tossed between quite a few different studios. Initially it started off as a Warner Brothers film, and then they shut the they shut the production down midway through because it was going wildly over budget. And then not long, like a very, very short time after, it was actually quite an illegal thing that happened. Fox went, "We'll get it, we'll take it off your hands," and Warner Brothers had no idea. So it was actually quite a dodgy sort of illegal process that happened with this. So like all the
because I know the final budget for this film was 15 million. Which, you think for a family comedy, that's quite expensive.
Yeah.
I think a lot of the money went into probably the stunts and the traps. And I think maybe hiring Joe Pesci and Daniel Stern, because I think they were quite big names at the time.
Oh, yeah, for sure. And, it went quite over budget by quite a large amount. And in that documentary I was talking about, they say, like the production designer... People, the Warner Brothers guy was coming to me and telling me to shut down all my work. The production was shut down. We're finished. And then 10 minutes later, a guy from Fox came in and says, "You're now a Fox picture. Carry on." So it was just, it's interesting, and it doesn't show signs of it being a troubled production at all.
It doesn't. No. I mean, there were strict rules on, particularly with Macaulay. They had to stop filming at 10 o'clock at night because of child labour laws.
Yeah.
Pretty much like BBC rules at the time in the studio.
Yeah, which for a film where your main character is an 8-year-old child who has to carry the bulk of it, it's not an ideal situation.
Yeah, I love how it's Marv who comes up with the idea of the wet bandits.
Yeah.
It's our calling card. And Home Alone 2 I love how in Home Alone 2 he just gets stupider. It doesn't diminish him, it just makes him even more funnier. We're the sticky bandits!
Pardonnez-moi, mon chéri. Daniel Stern actually, he nearly didn't get this role.
Because he was too expensive, I think.
Yeah, there was another actor that they were eyeing, but it didn't work out very well. So, Daniel Stern eventually got the role.
Yeah,
and I can't imagine anyone else playing Marv at all.
No, I can't. I know Robert De Niro, I think, was considered for Harry.
Yes, yeah. He was,
that would have been interesting.
Quite a few sort of veteran actors like that were considered.
Something tells me he wouldn't have shouted as much as Joe Pesci. I think he would have said, "Hey, you gotta watch out for traffic, son. Merry Christmas, little fella. We know that you're in there, and that you're all alone." I'd love to go to Chicago one day for Christmas because of all the snow, but I bet people who live there be like, "No, don't come here."
Oh, yeah, for sure.
The snow's everywhere. But that's what I'd love to see. I'd love to see snow everywhere for Christmas.
Yeah, same. I really hope it snows this year, to be honest, but I don't know if it will.
Well, I remember 2014, it did snow on Boxing Day.
Yeah.
And I thought, damn it, you're a day late.
I remember a few years ago where I am, we had a load of snow at the end of November, and then a load of snow in January. Yeah. So it was like, oh, come on. you were out by a month.
I mean, last bit of snow the UK got that really affected us all was the Beast from the East, and oh, I loved it.
Yeah, that was great. Yeah, yeah, because I couldn't get out of my door. The snow had piled up, and I opened the door, and it was just like this waist-high mound of snow. And it was like, oh, wow.
Well, it coincided with me being on a reading week at uni, and
nice.
Yeah, obviously I lived in Lincoln at the time. We had a castle, so naturally I went up the steep hill, which was very, very slippery. and I was kind of like Harry when he's going up the stairs. I was like, oh, come on, yes. Yeah. Even if you see a film set in England and it has loads of snow, don't buy it.
Oh no, it's completely false.
It never snows.
Completely false. It never. That's the thing. It never snows when you want it to. It does snow occasionally,
exactly.
But it's always in the most inconvenient of times.
I know. Yeah.
I mean, especially this year. If we have snow, it might encourage people to not go out and mix with each other. Might encourage people to sort of stay in because you can't go anywhere.
Well, I mean, I love to go for walks in the snow because I'm that sort of person, but I know for a lot of people it's not for them.
Yeah, me too. I love going for walks in the snow, especially like because where I live, it's quite there's a lot of countryside and stuff, and yeah, it's brilliant.
Now, every time I hear "Rockin' Round the Christmas Tree," I always think of this film.
Yes, same here, yeah.
Why does this house have mannequins?
Well, wow, yeah. Well, I think...
Oh, wait, maybe his dad designs mannequins. Well, maybe that's his job.
I think earlier, in the parents' room, you could see, like, a sewing kit and sort of dresses and stuff, so I think one of them, probably Kate, is, might be a fashion designer, maybe.
Maybe that's it.
It makes As for like the Michael Jordan,
I just love how they're fooled by this. Yeah. Did they come back?
Actually, in work the other day, we were getting ready for the shop to reopen, and we were sort of putting out stock and everything. And we put some Christmas music on just in the background, and I got one of the mannequins and started doing this. Started doing that scene and kind of like moving the arms up and down and stuff. So that was fun.
Oh yeah, they're watching It's a Wonderful Life in French.
Yeah, French dubs of It's a Wonderful Life.
Well, yeah, there's a deleted scene where one of the girls asks, I think the people who live in France here, she asks them, do you know what they're saying? No, I don't speak French.
And then in the second one, they're watching It's a Wonderful Life again, aren't they? But dubbed into... Spanish, I think, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, it's just so weird. Why would you watch it in that language? I mean, I'm going to make a confession. I've never seen It's a Wonderful Life.
Oh, really? I mean, to be fair, I only saw it for the first time last year.
I've seen it.
I only watched it for the first time last year. If I'm going to plug myself...
Heck, I've probably seen more parodies of it than I have the actual film.
Well, it's funny you should say that. It's funny you should say that.
I've seen the Muppets parody it, and Basil Brush of all people.
Yeah. It's funny you should say that because Christmas Eve on my YouTube channel, look out for something.
I will.
That's all I'll say at this juncture, but I'm making something incredibly silly in relation to It's a Wonderful Life, and I'm having a lot of fun. So, yeah.
Oh god, I love this numbering system you use. A, I'm not that lucky. 2, we have smoke detectors, and D...
Buzz numbering system.
People will think you're tapped, and that's awesome. Oh yeah, that's a running gag. The statue keeps falling over. Yeah. They keep crashing into the statue. Oh yeah, right, he says this pizza costs $11.80. What? $12 for a pizza? I mean, I can get them for a $5 near my takeaway.
Yeah.
But it doesn't even look that big a pizza. Just looks like a regular one.
It's pretty tiny, isn't it? It's medium size.
Yeah. Now, what I love later is when he uses this on Marv. Marv later says, "I thought I recognised one of the voices. I know that I've heard that name Snakes before." I just love how it's a reference to the fact that Marv has probably seen the film,
Yeah.
but he can't put two and two together.
Snakes. I don't know snakes.
Right, this pizza man thinks he's getting shot at. Why doesn't he call the police?
Yeah.
Wouldn't be surprised if on Boxing Day they showed up and said, "You're under arrest for, I don't know, threatening to kill someone."
It's quite... I mean, I've always wanted to try that, though. I've always wanted to try and line up a movie scene with what someone at the front door is saying, but it's pretty much impossible. It's
Yeah, you'd probably
impossible.
need like 1,000 different movies
Yeah,
or TV shows.
and you need psychic powers to, like, quickly match up a scene with what the person's saying.
I'd say Home Alone probably predicted takeaway delivery now. Leave it on the doorstep and get the hell out of here. Because when I was ordering stuff online and it came in the post, that's what the postman had to do. They had to leave it on the doorstep, knock and walk away.
Yeah.
I mean, another thing that's unrealistic, there's no way she can get on these flights last minute at Christmas time.
Oh, yeah, no, for sure,
It's just
yeah.
impossible. Mm-hmm.
This guy looks like an older version of the Grumpy Cat.
Grumpy Cat from
From all those memes.
where from?
From all those memes.
Oh
Yeah,
yeah,
the Grumpy Cat
the
meme.
Grumpy Cat.
He looks like an older version of the Grumpy Cat.
I mean, he bears a striking resemblance to Santa Claus.
Yeah, very true. And that's not the only weird... that's not the only extra that resembles a famous figure, because as we'll see later, Elvis fucking Presley is in this film.
Oh yeah,
years
he
after
is.
he died.
Well, it's like the hanging munchkin theory in The Wizard of Oz.
Oh man, when I was about 12 or so, like, I really got into that theory. Like, I really dived into the rabbit hole of that conspiracy theory. That's because the lengths that guy went to convince everyone that it was real, like digitally altering a VHS tape of The Wizard of Oz and stuff.
I'm dreaming of a white Christmas. Or I do this all the time.
Yeah, same here.
But these are probably the only words to the song that I know. I'm dreaming of a white Christmas.
Yeah.
Just like the ones I used to know. I don't know the rest of the words. I'll just stop here.
I mean, this is the only version I think of as well. When people mention this song, I almost never think of the version that everyone else thinks of, which is obviously the Bing Crosby version.
Yeah. Now I know, there is another deleted scene here where he walks by a woman and she kind of looks around like, what? And then just asks him, "Oh, you're pushing the cart? Are you pushing the trolley for Mum?" And he says, "Yes, ma'am."
Yeah.
And funny enough, in the trailer, when the checkout girl asks him all those questions, apparently it's like, I think if you look in the trailer, I think it's the store manager who's a man. So why they changed it, I don't know.
And I know that there's an extension of this exchange as well. I
think so, yeah.
I've seen a version somewhere, it might have been a deleted scene, or maybe it was in a TV version or something, where she asks quite a lot more questions than she does in the theatrical cut.
Imagine if you tried to buy wine or beer. Well, once again, to quote him, the unusual suspect goes, "Get some scissors," because he puts himself into this scene. He's like, "Aha!" Then later, when he's walking home, he drops the the shopping. I'm tempted to do that in my job if a customer pisses me off.
Oh yeah.
Aha!
Oh, for sure.
I mean, today it's like I got so many people asking, "Have you got any advent calendars? Why have the prices of selection boxes gone up?" I don't know. I don't make the prices.
I can imagine.
You have had literally since September to buy an advent calendar to store in your cupboard, loft and shed. So you have no excuse.
I mean, because today was, in the UK, the first day of shops reopening, wasn't it? So I can only imagine it must have been tough. Because I managed to get the day off. So I was quite lucky that I missed the first day.
I mean, yeah, I've got the day off tomorrow, so I'm just going to say, right, I'm taking no chances. I'm doing all my Christmas shopping in one go tomorrow.
Yeah, I'm...
Because usually I like to do it over little bits, just to enjoy that Christmas experience more, but
yeah.
Nah, I'm not taking any chances.
Yeah, for sure.
I want to do it out in the shops while I can, and not just do it all online.
Yeah, for sure. I'm at work tomorrow, so I'm looking forward to seeing what idiots I see.
You know, with the amount of screen time, this quote-unquote, what is it, a heater?
Yeah, like yeah.
This heater gets, I'm surprised it's not used as a trap later.
That's true. Well, yeah, it'd be quite violent. Can you, like, one of them gets their head stuck in it or something?
Well, it would be like a saw trap, because there's a trap in that where someone's burnt alive. Yeah, they get locked in a furnace.
Yeah.
I love that. Go check it out.
Now?
I mean, there's a deleted... Oh, no, I think it's in the trailer, where when they're about to go in at night, Marv says, "You said kids are stupid. I knew I used to be." And Harry says, "You still are, Marv." Don't know why they didn't keep that in, because that's just funny.
Yeah, that would have been... Yeah. I mean, to be fair, this film...
He also says... He says shit here, doesn't he?
Yeah, he goes, shit.
Yeah.
Shit.
Nowadays, that would get the rating up to an immediate 12.
Yeah, it would, wouldn't it? Though, to be fair,
yeah, because like
the film is still...
If you look at the MCU films, I'm willing to bet if they came out in the 90s or like late 70s, like same time as the original Star Wars trilogy, I guarantee they'd all be rated a U.
Oh yeah, no, hands down, yeah. I'm shocked that the original
they don't
Star
even swear
Wars...
that much.
I'm shocked that the original trilogy is still a U. Even now, with the most updated versions, the new Disney Plus versions, I'm so shocked that they're still a U.
Yeah,
it is nuts. To be fair, though, this film is still a PG. They re-released it recently for the anniversary, and the new 4K version and everything. It's still a PG, so it's managed to retain that rating.
I just love how they're both fooled by this, and they think, "Hey, we could get dirt on someone here." They think it could be an advantage to their plan, but no, it's just a kid scaring them.
I do like the little details of the snow globes on the dashboard.
Yeah, probably because he stole them.
Yeah.
Oh, no snakes. It's just the weird thing is they were completely fooled the night before that it was a house full of people. Now they think it's empty and someone's already tried to burgle the house, but now they're murdering people. Because I'd argue in the second film they may be more stupid, but they're a bit more ruthless. Because at the end of this film, they're like, "We're gonna do everything you did to us, kid. Burn your head with a blowtorch, smash you in the face with an iron." Home Alone 2, it's like, "I've got a fucking gun." "You were spitting gum out through your forehead, kid."
There's Alvis.
Now it's... Oh, where?
He's, because he disappears between shots. There he is with his beard.
How is it Elvis Presley? I don't get it.
He looks so much like Elvis.
Oh yeah, he does definitely.
So
now that I can see the hair, yeah.
Lit in the face as well. But then I think it cuts away and it cuts back and he's gone.
Yeah.
It's like...
just realised, she's probably not slept in the past 3 days,
Oh,
2 days,
yeah,
something
yeah.
like that. Wow. Yeah. Now I know John Candy, who we're about to see here. He and John Hughes were close friends, weren't they?
Yeah, very close friends.
And
Yeah.
apparently he was John Hughes was devastated when he died.
Oh, I'm not surprised. I love John Candy. I think he's
Yeah.
great. He's this film was basically done as a favour, and it's basically an extended cameo more than anything else. And it's
It
just
is,
done
yeah.
as a favour to John Hughes, I think.
Yeah. No, yeah. In fact, my parents actually saw John Candy in the early 90s because they went to Canada for a holiday, and I think they went to a baseball game and he was there.
Oh, really? Oh man, that's
Yeah.
a cool story.
Yeah, he left far too soon, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah, because it was in Planes, Trains and Automobiles, which also was written by John Hughes.
Yeah.
I can't think of any other John Hughes films he was in.
Uncle Buck.
Oh yeah, that's
Uncle
it. Yeah.
Buck. John Hughes wasn't involved with Cool Runnings, was he? No.
No, it wasn't. But I think that was the last film that was released while he was alive.
Yeah.
Because I think the other films that came out after he had died. But yeah, he's really good in Cool Runnings.
Oh, he is. Yeah. He's great, and I love John Candy.
Yeah, and he's really good in The Rescuers Down Under as Wilbur, is that his name? The bird?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. I know he was going to be apparently in Pocahontas as well, the Disney film, but he passed away, and I think it might have been because of that they decided to make the animals in that film mute and not talk.
Oh, nice. I didn't know that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool.
So yeah, it's Christmas Eve, and only now Kevin is getting his Christmas tree.
Well, yeah, that's the thing. You often see films like Christmas films, especially American ones, where they're like putting the tree up on Christmas Eve, and it's like, fair enough, but it's going to be up for like a day.
Yeah. Well, I always take mine down like 2nd of January because I still class New Year's Day as part of the festive season. Then
Oh yeah,
January
yeah.
2nd, I take it down.
Same here. Yeah.
But technically, you could keep it up till January 6th because that's the Epiphany.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
Oh yeah, he's about to say the title of the film here. He's home alone. Well, so that's why they call it that.
He said it.
His mum. Actually, no, his mum said it earlier, but just feels more impactful coming from the.
Yeah.
Well, why do they want to rob this house? There's nothing in it worth stealing. Heck, even in Home Alone 5, they do try and give the reason they have, I think, old paintings in the basement that the family's not aware of, but the thieves are.
Yeah, so it's like a almost like buried treasure almost.
Yeah. But yeah, that line comes back in the second film, except you take the letter D and replace it with P.
Kids are scared of the park.
Scared of the park. You know, I'm surprised that they're able to drive back to Chicago in this weather.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Because I think that's an issue in Planes, Trains and Automobiles in November. In fact, what if John Candy's character here is the same character from Planes, Trains and Automobiles? Because I know he's called Dell in that film, but
Yeah.
I think he's called Gus in this, so probably not. Unless he just changed his... Unless the character changed his name. I love this fake Santa coming up here. He clearly looks about, what, 21?
Yeah, he's not that old, but he plays it like he's this sort of middle-aged, grizzled guy. I recognise that the actress who plays the elf as well.
Oh, what's she in?
It's bugging me. I'm going to have to look it up. I'm sure she's been in like another John Hughes film. Or I think she's just got one of those faces.
I do like how this Santa's a bit more... Yeah, look at him. He looks about 21. Yeah. He's barely out of his nappies. Yeah, I like how this Santa's at least courteous enough not to have a kid see him smoking.
Yeah. Yeah, it's nice, actually, yeah.
Yeah, now he's given a complete stranger his address. When the checkout girl asked him, "Where do you live?" "I can't tell you that, you're a stranger." I mean, if a kid asked me I want my family back, I'd probably say, "Okay, kid, I'm going to take you to the nearest police station, and you can tell me what... you can tell the police what you just told me, and we'll get your family back." Because I'd assume that this kid is lost or something.
Okay, so apparently the woman who plays the elf is in Home Alone 2.
Oh, is she? Who does she play?
Let me have a look. She plays the flight attendant in Home Alone 2.
Ah, right, okay.
And then that's the only other thing she's been in is something called Only the Lonely, which I've never heard of.
Which, well, it also has John Candy in it.
Oh, is it?
Yeah, I know. Yeah, so she probably gave up the Christmas elf job to be a flight attendant.
Yeah, I actually think I know who that is now. I think is that the woman where he goes, "Excuse me, this is an emergency. I'll be fine."
Oh yeah,
I think it's that woman.
Yeah, I do like that scene. He realises that he still does miss his family.
Yeah, and obviously John Williams' score is amazing.
Yeah. In fact, I'll mention another Christmas film I've not seen that's so famous, A Christmas Story.
Oh yeah, I've not seen that either.
I know it's considered a classic.
I think it's more of an American thing than it is over here. I know in America it's quite a big property, like there's lots of merchandise around it and stuff. Over here we don't really get that. It's definitely to watch it at some point though.
He goes into a church to seek sanctuary from our Lord Jesus Christ. There's a religious symbolism to this. This song here, was it written by John Williams, or is it just an old Christmas carol?
I'm not that's a good question.
Because I know this film did get 2 Oscar nominations, one for Best Score and one for Best Song, but I can't remember the name of the song.
Yeah. I'll have a look. It might be, I'm not sure.
But I know this song is heard in The Simpsons when Homer's life flashes before his eyes. Oh, hear the angel cry. Hey, my wish has changed. Oh, the night when Christ was born.
And he raises his fingers up and starts like wiggling his like,
it's just priceless.
It's not just his voice that changes, his whole mannerisms change.
Exactly.
God, you're right. This really does sort of, because it's not like a short film. It's sort of average length, hour and 40, hour and 42. It does. It rattles
like 100
along.
minutes.
It rattles along.
Yeah, you're never bored by it.
Not at all.
Because as a kid,
quick.
it felt like an eternity before you got to your favourite part, which was the traps.
Yeah,
But yeah, growing up, you definitely appreciate scenes like this where.
Yeah.
But to be honest, if an 8-year-old kid started giving me family advice, I'd just tell him to shut up.
Yes, yeah. You're right though, as a kid, I would often just sort of fast forward past this bit just to get to the traps, but as you get older, it's one of the best parts of the film, I think. One of Macaulay Culkin's best bits of acting is in this. Oh no, so the song that was nominated was Somewhere in My Memory. So it was just nominated as an individual
right,
track,
I see.
and then the whole score as a whole was nominated as well.
I can definitely see why. I mean, I think any score he'd do, it's nominated for an Oscar.
Yeah.
Heck, I think Rise of Skywalker, which wasn't very popular with the critics, at least got a Best Score nomination at the Oscars.
It did, yeah, and that's it's always a given with John Williams.
Yeah, John Williams can just take the worst written scene ever, like the romance scenes in Attack of the Clones, and actually make it really romantic. Because if you listen to Across the Stars by itself, it is such a beautiful romantic theme.
It's fantastic, yeah.
Shame it's attached to "I'm haunted by the kiss you should never have given."
Oh, generally, when I get chills when the sort of the drums come in and everything blasts in full force with Across the Stars, it's brilliant. Have you ever heard of the film 3615 Code Père Noël?
No.
That is a 1989 French film, and there was this big legal action, this big lawsuit, I think, over accusations of plagiarism, because that film came out a year before this, and it's about a young boy who has to defend his home from a home invader dressed up as Santa.
Right.
So yeah, there's this whole thing surrounding it where the guy who directed it is like massively trying to get Home Alone banned or something. Plagiarism. But to be honest, if you think about it, if it was released in 1989, with all the production problems that happened with Home Alone, with it getting shifted around between studios and stuff, it would have been written before then.
This probably would have been first.
Yeah, it would have been written before that, or at least at the same time. And because it's a French film as well, so I doubt that it would have had a sort of big awareness at the time.
But yeah, this scene I do really like now that I'm older, because it shows that even Kevin, despite all his bratty actions, he does have a heart, and he is willing to see the error of his ways.
Yeah, for sure, yeah.
My grandparents would never send me a check. They just give me either clothes or sweets, which I was fine with.
Yeah, same here, man. It is, yes.
Then now that I'm older, sometimes they send me a scratch card.
Oh yeah. It's an interesting thing that I've just noticed actually is the wound on Old Man Marley's hand. It gets less prominent as the film goes on, because when it starts he has a big bandage across his hand.
That's true. I didn't notice that.
Yeah, when we see him in the grocery store, he has the bandage and it's kind of covered in blood. And then we've just seen his hand there, and it's only got like one plaster on it, so it's kind of getting smaller as it goes along.
Yeah, though, how did that heal so quickly in a day? Because that was only the day before.
Yeah. So this piece here is one of my favourite John Williams tracks ever. This
It is, yeah, it's so suspenseful,
cool.
but heck, it's great to play in your ears when, you know, the clocks are chiming and the shops are about to close and you think, shit, I've got to get all my shopping done.
Yeah, that's true, right? Yeah. If I'm in a rush, I sometimes sort of think in my head, doom, doom, like...
Right, kid, it probably took you an hour to make that plan.
Yeah, Kevin's battle plans.
Apparently, Macaulay Culkin did draw that, which is cool.
Oh, that's nice, yeah. Micro Machine sales went up after this film came out, I believe.
I can see why.
Yeah.
Now, I think the slapstick works as well as it does in this and the other film is because it feels real, but it doesn't become over-the-top violent. Like, now, of course, there would be bleeding in real life, but you're not going to show that in a PG film.
Yeah, there's enough.
It's the fact that you can hear the impact for you to go, oh, ouch, like that, where you do wince and laugh at the same time, but not where it becomes unfunny.
Yeah, it's all down to how it's shot and edited as well, and I think this film doesn't get enough credit for how well shot and well edited it is, because it's edited like to perfection. Like, it lets comedic beats play out, it cuts away when it needs to, and when you get onto the slapstick as well, it's brilliantly done. It really adds to the comedic timing of everything. And I really like...
And he still had time to make mac and cheese. I call BS on that.
I really like the visual style of this film as well. It reminds me a lot of Superman the movie, where it's got that really sort of smoke...
It does, yeah.
That sort of smoky, filtered look to it, almost. Like, it's kind of hazy.
Yeah.
The sequel doesn't have that. The sequel's a lot
Krypton
cleaner.
and the Fortress of Solitude... Yeah, Krypton and the Fortress of Solitude do look very snowy.
Yeah, they do, yeah.
I mean, imagine editing this into a You've Been Framed sketch and Harry Hill narrating it. Well, as you can see, he's a bit... So he doesn't clearly notice the ice on the stairs, and he's slipped, he's fallen down, I think that's going to be more than an ouch. I think he's just going to be in a wheelchair for the rest of his life.
Here's Ross Kemp.
Oh dear.
Here's Ross Kemp. He's just locked himself out of his house.
I always laugh at Harry and Marv's pathetic attempts to try and fool Kevin. You know, the Merry Christmas, little fella. We know that you're in there.
It's Santa Claus and his elf.
Like, he's not that dumb. He knows you're going to rob the place. Now, this is a BB gun, right? It's not an air rifle.
Yeah, I think it's a BB gun. It's just a really...
Yeah, because if it was an air rifle, it would hurt way more.
To be fair, though, I've been shot by a BB gun quite a few times when I was younger. And it hurts.
Was this your reaction?
Well, yeah.
Going...
It does hurt, though. It does... Yeah. Because me and my friends used to go out and shoot each other with BB guns all the time.
Apparently Daniel Stern when he quickly comes out of the dog flap like there, he hit his nose really hard apparently.
Oh god, yeah. That doesn't surprise me actually.
And see what? Also, I just realised they have a dog flap, but where's the dog?
Where's the dog? I'd never thought about that before. Unless before they went on holiday they just put him into a dog kennel or something, or left him with a friend, I don't know. Oh well, who cares? It's his face.
Rib and spinal fractures.
It's great watching this with It's great watching this with pretty much anyone really, because everyone I've never watched this and been sat there in silence with people. Everyone always laughs at this.
Whenever I watch it with my family, we always laugh because we watch it every Christmas and we're just like, We're just like, oh, he's not getting up.
Yeah.
Oh, he'd be in a wheelchair for the rest of his life.
And I think especially when you watch it with people
I know,
that haven't seen
yeah.
it in a while as well. Like a few years ago, I watched it with my grandparents, and they'd not seen it in a few years, and they were loving it. This whole section, they couldn't stop laughing. It was great. And when you get that sort of reaction from people you're watching it with, it's.
I know
great.
It's not in this film, but I can't stop laughing at the brick scene. It's just so dumb and brutal.
Suck brick,
it's almost like something you'd see out of a. It's almost like something you'd see out of a gangster film, it's a way of torturing them. You throw bricks at them, but it's just so ingeniously dumb.
Harry.
I know there's videos of doctors analysing what their injuries would be.
Yeah.
Like when he fell down the stairs there, I think a doctor said, yeah, I think he'd have he wouldn't be getting up. No, he'd probably have a kidney blown as well. And you think, ouch.
He'd be pretty messed up.
Yeah, and they'd say, oh, that's 3rd-degree burns from an iron. His face would be pretty wrecked. I think he's going to need some skin grafts. Yeah, and apparently, when we're about to see Harry, gets his hand branded by the doorknob, apparently, if you leave that without any medical attention, the skin can go black and really blister and get infected. Ow.
It's...
Oh!
Probably wouldn't have a giant, perfectly defined scar, mark in your hand.
Some of these reactions from them, it's like that scene from Spider-Man when the Green Goblin's about to get impaled. Oh. And I know Family Guy did quite a funny gag. Home Alone with competent burglars. Oh, careful, there's toys on the floor. Yeah, the doorknob was pretty hard too, but I let go instead of just holding on to it. Just so you guys know, I have a tarantula. Well, now there's no witnesses. Yeah, also the doctor said, I have never seen skin smoke like that.
Yeah.
And to be honest, I actually do think putting it into freezing cold snow would work, because, it's just like in a cartoon where you're burning and you just sit in hot water and you're like, cooled off.
Ooh.
Oh god.
Oh, the
this
nail
is
through the
Saw
foot.
film. Ow!
It's the noise as well. You can kind of hear the skin tearing.
Yeah. And he probably hurt his back more than his foot. Now this next bit here, I love the Unusual Suspects edit of it. It's like, Harry, move, you're going to get your head blown off. And he just lets him screaming. You know it's winter, right? You know the snow outside. Look, it'll melt the freaking fire.
I'm spinning around, get out of my way.
I think ever since I became subscribed to him in 2014, that's now a Christmas tradition.
Yes, same here.
I watch his Home Alone videos again.
I remember when his Home Alone 2 video first came out. I watched it because I didn't know he was working on it, and I was quite young at the time. I remember seeing it pop up, and I was just like, "Oh my god, it's just come out!" And I remember absolutely dying at the Justin Bieber bit where he throws the bomb at Justin Bieber and then starts dancing to "Merry Christmas, Everyone." Oh god, genuinely, I couldn't breathe. I remember the first time watching that, I genuinely couldn't breathe.
I know. That's the great thing about The Unusual Suspect. Even though he only uploads a review 2 or 3 times a year, it just it's worth the wait. It really is.
And I know now he's doing the movies, but I'm in it series. Which
I'd love to see him do Home Alone. Hopefully, if he does it in time for Christmas.
Yeah.
Now, this scene here where he's going to get covered in feathers, Chris Columbus said, when I saw that with people, nobody laughed because it was too soft. But when you compare this to the next scene where Marv steps on the Christmas ornaments, the entire audience was howling and cringing with laughter. Yeah, there's no impact. It's just, he's covered in feathers.
Yeah. Oh, this is...
just like stepping on glass. Ow! I mean, I did once step on a plug socket barefoot so I could sympathise with Marv. Yeah, I literally made the same noise he was like. I was like,
plug socket, Jesus.
Yeah, and I should have shouted, I'm gonna kill that kid! Actually, well, it was my own fault, so I had no one else to kill. I love that, dressed like a chicken.
It's when they both go over.
Oh. Heads up! No, it's not. Huh?
When they land on top of each other, it's a little, oh.
Oh. Wait, if the phone lines are down, how is Kevin able to call the police bit here?
Oh, yeah.
And why didn't you just do that earlier instead of going into all this trouble with the traps? Sorry, I've just ruined a Christmas classic. Look, he's about to trip over a wire. It's a shame he doesn't have the voice recorder from the second film. Howdy do. This is Peter McAllister, the father.
And the woman on the phone is just like, yes, sir. Yes.
Now, for this scream coming up, which I think is a great one, they had to dub on the scream later, and he just mimed it because if he screamed, he would have scared the spider off his face.
Yes,
yeah, and he he's just petrified of it.
The screams in these films are brilliant.
Yeah, because I mean, tarantulas are pretty dangerous. They can hurt you.
Oh yeah.
You know, he is a bit like Bart Simpson. He's a troublemaker, and he's got his own treehouse.
Yeah, that's very true. There's a lot of comparisons made to Bart Simpson and Kevin McAllister, a lot.
Yeah, and The Simpsons was just starting out.
Yeah. It's the 90s, isn't it? It's the 90s kids loved.
And funnily enough, if you watch 90s Simpsons, you'll notice that their first episode is a Christmas special, and they don't do a Christmas-related one until season 7's Marge Be Not Proud, and there's a reason for that. The writers felt that the first ever episode was a Christmas special, so we felt that we just, trying to be living up to the pilot episode.
Yeah.
And we'd also get notes from the network saying, if we repeat this, we can't show it any other time of the year, so we didn't bother with Christmas episodes for a while. Now that's clearly a stunt double.
Very.
See, because Kevin looks like he just grew about 2 extra feet.
Yeah, and the same with the Old Man Marley stunt double later on.
Yeah, that wig is like
terrible,
hippie.
Yeah, no, but maybe committed suicide.
Maybe he committed suicide. How'd you come to that conclusion?
But yeah, going back to what you were saying about The Simpsons and Christmas, I'm going to try and do what I did for Halloween, and I'm going to try and watch every single Christmas Simpsons episode. And
I mean, the ones I tend to watch are the Roasting on an Open Fire, Marge Be Not Proud, Miracle on Evergreen Terrace, I think it's called Grift of the Margie.
Yeah.
That's it. Yeah, I think those are... Oh yeah, Skinner's Sense of Snow, and maybe Homer vs. Dignity, because I used to have those 2 Simpson Christmas DVDs.
Yes, I did as well.
But the funny thing is, like, for some of those episodes, Christmas didn't even come up until, like, the 3rd act.
I mean, for me, like...
Heck, I think Dude, Where's My Ranch I mean, the first act is about Homer trying to write a Christmas Carol, but he just ends up writing something stupidly popular.
Yeah.
And they go on holiday to get away from it. And the rest of the episode has nothing to do with Christmas. And they put it on a Christmas-related DVD.
I mean, for me, Mr. Plow is a Christmas episode just because it's snow. Like, it's nothing. It's not set at Christmas or anything, but I always tend to lump that in.
Yeah, that's true, I guess, because it's wintry.
Yeah, and also Bart gets an F because there's that bit where they all the townspeople come together and start singing. Oh yeah, there's the snow bit. Yeah. Have you ever seen the episode Holidays of Future Past?
No, not. I've seen the clip of them aging in the photo.
Yeah, that's probably the best Simpsons episode since the Golden Age ended. It's brilliant. I know
it was going to be. I heard it was going to be the series finale, but then Fox just renewed the season again.
Yeah, it's in season 23, and it's a fantastic episode. It's so well written, and you can genuinely tell that it's meant to be the finale because it's sort of like saying goodbye to the characters and completing some long-standing arcs and stuff. It's really well done. So yeah, I definitely recommend watching that.
No one can say "Hiya, pal" better than
Hiya,
Joe Pesci.
Pal.
Hiya, pal. The way he says it in Home Alone 2, it's like the way you see someone at a party.
Yeah.
But given the situation, it just sounds so threatening at the same time. Yeah. It's like the one voice Kevin did not want to hear again.
Yeah, the stunt double coming up is terrifying. It's terrifyingly shit.
There it is. Skull fracture with epidermal hematoma. Harry and Marv are dead. So he got him home and just left him there? He didn't think, well, these burglars could still be after you, we'd better get you to, I don't know, my place, where, a responsible adult is looking after you.
Even so, I would have stayed with him until the police arrived. I would have stayed with him in the house until everything... In fact, no, I would have stayed with him in the house until his parents got back, because I would have just been like...
Yeah, exactly.
Keep him safe.
Harry's now got a black eye. Just if you look closely. Yeah.
This scene's really atmospheric as well. It's another one of those really atmospheric moments when Have Yourself a Merry Little Christmas starts playing and they get led away.
Hands off the head, pal. Yeah, I bet Bone's probably showing in that head of his because it's been burnt.
Probably.
He probably won't be growing his hair again.
And then they repeat it in the second one by having him shove his head down a chemical toilet and it fucking blows up.
I mean, yeah, you can get your head burnt enough that it doesn't grow back because I had an operation once where I had to get a mole removed from my head and the doctor said, we could cauterize this section, but it means that hair won't be able to grow back ever. And I just said... I'll keep a cloth on it, thanks.
Yeah, that's probably a better option, isn't it?
Yeah. That's such a perfect Christmas image.
Oh yeah, it's great.
Red, green, stockings, fireplace. And he still believes in Santa. He's like 8. I mean, I stopped believing in Santa when I was about 8.
Yeah, I can't remember when I did, to be honest. I think for me it was like a gradual thing. Like there wasn't a moment where I was just like, oh yeah, I don't believe in Santa anymore. It was just sort of one of those things that as I got older I started questioning things. And that's just how it happened. It wasn't a big revelation that ruined my life or anything.
I mean, Gus says here, we're on tour like 48 weeks of the year, we don't even see our families. Well, that's encouraging for the type of career I want to go into. Have you ever gone on vacation and left your child at home? No. It took you that long to answer.
See, that's what I mean. A lot of directors and a lot of editors would have removed that pause. But keeping that in is just brilliant.
just look at that, all that
Oh, it's
snow.
fantastic.
Imagine waking up to that on Christmas
Yeah.
Day. That'd be so brilliant.
I love it so much this year. Because this year, I'm feeling like more Christmassy than ever. It's the same.
I think we all are because of how awful this year has been for us.
It's the same as I was for Halloween. Like, I'm just really getting into it. And I think it would just be brilliant if that happened.
Yeah, I definitely got more into Halloween this year, particularly with the horror films, because I probably watched a lot more than I usually do.
Same here, yeah. Oh, I bloody watched one every day, and by the end of October, I got so... It was actually starting to affect my mental health. Just because every single day watching a horror film, it was starting to get really exhausting.
Well, last month in November, I just... I need some fantasy, so I put on, like... all the extended edits of The Hobbit and Lord of the Rings, as well as watching the appendices, and I just felt,
nice.
Christ, I'm all Middle-earthed out. And then recently I just finished watching all the Star Wars stuff up until Episode 8, and I just like, I'm all Star Wars'd out.
Yeah.
I mean, because I recently got the newer Disney Blu-rays for Episodes 1 to 6, and even inspired me to watch Phantom Menace and Attack of the Clones again, which I kind of swear I'd never do. And I'm just like, I mean, I had it on in the background while I was just doing other things, so I wasn't really watching them.
For me, it was Back to the Future in November. I went all in on those films just because I needed like a feel good thing coming out of horror films, and especially the first one, the first Back to the Future especially, is like a perfect kind of feel good film. Not to ruin the magic for anyone, but the snow outside that they're using is actually potato flakes.
Oh, is it? It doesn't look like it.
Yeah, and not to ruin these scenes, but apparently it stank because the potato flakes just rotted after a bit. So it was just this smell of rotting. I mean,
well, yeah, because if it came out November time, they would have filmed it spring, summer, so no snow.
Yeah, exactly. But actually, the main shot that we saw a while ago of the house in the snow, that is actually real snowfall that they managed to film.
Oh, okay.
Like they were shooting another scene entirely, and then it suddenly started snowing really heavily. So they were just like, everyone move the cameras to the outside of the house, and they got that perfect shot. But I think all the additional snow is potato flakes.
So, she didn't have to take all those flights.
Yeah.
She could have just taken the morning flight.
Yeah, and she would have been there about
I don't care.
10 minutes later, if that.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, we never see him clean up the house after the trap, so let's assume one of them stepped on a nail, got a paint can in their face, tripped over the wire.
One of them's got no hair now.
Got covered in feathers. Someone has to find an open store. I don't think people are open Christmas Day.
Yeah.
I think my funniest bit about him revealing that he went shopping is Buzz's reaction. He's like, "What? Who is this kid?" Yeah. It's like, he can't tie his shoelaces and now he's going shopping. And now they leave him alone instantly again.
Yeah.
Now, originally the film was going to end on Kevin saying, "Oh, I just hung around," and something like that. And yeah, but then it was rewritten to include Old Man Marley reuniting with his family again.
That's a lot better ending, I think.
Yeah.
Because
just hung around sounds like the ending to a sitcom.
Yeah, I was going to say, I find that just hung around moment quite cringy. Especially when they all start laughing as well. I find it quite... To
quote the Honest Trailer again, "Dang, I'm not crying, you're crying. Maybe I should call my dad again." Yeah, I love this theme from John Williams as well.
Yeah.
It just encompasses everything about Christmas and family.
It's brilliant, yeah.
enough, Old Man Marley looks a lot like John Cunliffe, the writer and creator of Postman Pat and Rosie and Jim. Looks a little bit like him.
That's true, actually. Yes, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I know some people complain in the second film that Buzz is back to bullying Kevin again, but yeah, I mean, that's what sibling rivalry is like.
Yeah, that's the cycle.
They might respect you. I mean, I'm the youngest in my family. I mean, they respect you one day and then hate you the next.
That's the cycle. That's not... Yeah, I hate it just... And to be fair, Buzz doesn't like go, oh, I'm going to change my ways. He's just like, yeah, it's pretty cool. It's pretty cool you didn't burn the house down.
Yeah, in the second film, he's even more of a bully, I'd argue.
Yeah. Yeah, that's true, because in this first one, he doesn't seem to, like, be actively targeting Kevin. He just seems to be, like, really indifferent to him and annoyed by him. Whereas in the second one, he's actively, like, tormenting him.
Trying to antagonise him, yeah. I mean, the worst thing about the fourth film is that, yeah, they use Buzz in that film, and he's clearly a 12-year-old. In Home Alone 2, he looks 17!
Yeah.
How? Oh. I mean, the timeline in that's more convoluted than X-Men.
Yeah. Well, because in Home Alone 2, because his voice is deeper, isn't it, in Home Alone 2? Because obviously the gap in real life, the actor had grown up a bit more, and it's so, yeah.
But yeah, overall, I still love this film. I watch it every Christmas. It's a tradition for me. It doesn't feel like Christmas until I've watched this.
Yeah, same here. It's just a fun... It just holds up really well, and it's more than... It's a genuinely well put together piece of work.
Yeah, I can pick apart so many things now that I'm older, of how so many things doesn't make sense, and how there's so many ways he could not be Home Alone if he just used his common sense, but you just don't care, really, because obviously it's just telling you to come along for the ride.
Well, that's the thing, and I think a lot of Christmas films are like that, where you kind of... You don't pick them apart as much as standard films, just because you kind of have to go with it, really. Like, I'll be the first to admit that the first Nativity film isn't a masterpiece, but it's still one of my favourite Christmas films. And it's the same goes with this. There are a lot of things you could nitpick, but it's still, at the end of the day, a genuinely well put together film. And it's just full of... It
is, yeah.
And obviously now it's so quotable and iconic and everything. But even just taking that out of it, it just works really well. And yeah, like you said.
Now this song... The song we just heard there, is that somewhere in my memory?
I think it might be, yeah.
Yeah, so I think that's the song that got nominated for an Oscar, but I don't think it won.
But yeah, no, it's an absolute Christmas classic, and it's hopefully...
It's now one of my favourite Disney films.
It'll hopefully be a Christmas classic and continue to be a Christmas classic for many years to come. I hope that kids are introduced to it nowadays and stuff. I hope so, anyway.
I think if you make a film about Christmas, whether it be good or an abomination, it's not going to be forgotten, because there's always going to be someone who says... Yeah, it's not very good, but I like it.
Well, yeah, there's always going to be someone who has it as their favourite Christmas film. There's always going to be someone who has it as their favourite holiday tradition, so it's always, like you said, it's always going to be remembered. But, yes.
And that is it for Home Alone.
That is the end of the commentary to Home Alone. I really hope you've enjoyed listening to this. Next time...
Yep.
What are we doing next time?
We're the Sticky Bandits.
It's Home Alone 2. I kind of revealed it earlier, but we're doing Home Alone 2 next time. So we hope you come in and enjoy that one when we put it up. Meantime, go subscribe to Isaac's channel. Thank you once again for doing this. And
definitely, yeah.
And yes, see you next time, everyone.
Bye-bye.
Bye.